highlights for this hour on VTV News. Vietnam, Kazakhstan upgrade ties to a strategic partnership. The National Assembly discusses two-tier local model. Later on in our news, final rehearsal for Victory Day military parade held in Moscow, Russia.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm and his spouse attended a military parade on Wednesday morning in Astana, Kazakhstan, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the Great Patriotic War victory. The event featured over 4,000 service members from various forces, over 200 military vehicles and 66 aircraft and helicopters. Each formation included 156 troops, ending with a 300-strong military band. The parade honored Kazakhstan's wartime sacrifices, promoted patriotism among youth, and highlighted the readiness of its armed forces. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm visited the Academies of Public Administration with the President of Kazakhstan on the evening of May 6 local time as part of his state visit to the Central Asian nation. He delivered a policy speech promoting bilateral relations as a bridge between Southeast and Central Asia.
In a joint statement, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm stressed that 5 key connections should be strengthened in the coming time to implement the upgrading of Vietnam-Kazakhstan relations. These include people-to-people connections, infrastructure connections, policy connections, interregional connections, and economic connections.
Vietnam aims to enhance economic trade and investment cooperation with Kazakhstan, making it a key pillar of the bilateral relationship. The two countries target doubling trade to $5 billion by 2030. Vietnam seeks to strengthen ties with Kazakhstan through the Eurasian Economic Union, connect the Central Asian market with ASEAN, and access the European market via Central Asia. Both countries need to expand trade in agricultural and aquatic products. There is also potential for deeper cooperation in the mining sector, and we hope Kazakhstan will collaborate on developing an international financial center model.
The Vietnamese leader reiterated the importance of solidarity in boosting cooperation between the two countries and regions.
Friendship, solidarity, and genuine cooperation form the strong bond between Vietnam and Kazakhstan in this new era. I firmly believe that with the efforts of both sides, especially the younger generations, the strategic partnership will continue to grow, serving as a bridge to enhance cooperation between Southeast Asia and Central Asia. This will bring mutual benefits to our people and contribute to peace and stability in the region and globally.
The party chief praised the Academy of Public Administration's key contributions to Kazakhstan's development. He also believed the Academy would continue driving education and scientific progress, both in Kazakhstan and the region.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm also met with leaders of several Kazakh enterprises and corporations on Wednesday during his state visit to Kazakhstan. More to follow.
Meeting with the chair of Kotekin's construction joint stock company and Cousteau Group, the Vietnamese party chief expressed his support for the group's market development in Vietnam. He praised Kotekin's for ensuring project progress, cost savings, and environmental protection. He encouraged the firm's further investment, value chain development, and stronger connections between the two countries and the global market.
Meanwhile, during the meeting with the CEO of Kazakhstani wealth fund Samar Kazina, the Vietnamese leader encouraged businesses from both countries to boost investment cooperation. He highlighted Vietnam's push for foreign investment in semiconductors, renewable energy, and digital transformation sectors. He urged the fund to boost its project participation to strengthen bilateral economic ties.
During the visit, Party General Secretary Theo also toured the Astana International Financial Center, AFC, ranked 64th globally and first in Central Asia and Eastern Europe. As of August last year, over 3,000 companies, including major global auditing and banking firms, were registered there. AIFC focuses on strategic areas such as the stock market, green technology, fintech, Islamic finance, and asset management. By 2024, AIFC had contributed over $11.9 billion to Kazakhstan's economy.
Party General Secretary Theo, his spouse and President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, visited Ethel Culture Village, a unique destination in Kazakhstan. Ethel vividly recreates the lifestyles and culture of the Kazakh nomadic people. Located near the Kazanat racetrack in Astana, the complex spans approximately 2,500 square meters. It featured 30 traditional earth-designed and ancient style, offering visitors an authentic insight into nomadic life. Also, consider a living culture museum and an attractive educational and entertainment center. The Ethel Culture Village is open all year round and is a favorite destination for locals and international visitors who want to explore and experience the nomadic culture of Kazakhstan. During Party General Secretary Theo's state visit to Kazakhstan, General Phan Van Giang, Politburo member and Minister of National Defense, and General Leung Tam-Quang, Politburo member and Minister of Public Security, met with their counterparts from Kazakhstan.
General Phan Van Giang, a Politburo member and Minister of National Defense, met with Kazakhstan's Minister of Defense. At the meeting, they agreed to promote delegation exchanges and facilitate meetings between defense enterprises. The two sides also committed to sharing their experiences in UN peacekeeping missions and enhancing human resource development.
General Leung Tam-Quang, Politburo member and Minister of Public Security, also held talks with Kazakhstan's Minister of Internal Affairs, Yerzhan Saidnov. The two sides agreed to strengthen cooperation in the fight against organized crime, high-tech crime, economic crime, drug trafficking, and human trafficking. They also agreed to resolutely prevent any organization or individual from using the territory of one country to conduct activities against the other.
During his state visit to Kazakhstan, Party General Secretary Theo and his spouse, along with a high-level Vietnamese delegation, witnessed the signing of a joint statement establishing a strategic partnership between Vietnam and Kazakhstan. The two sides agreed to strengthen exchanges across all levels and channels, enhance cooperation in defense, security, justice, economy, agriculture, science, education, and culture, and support closer ties between their people. They also discussed using the Trans-Caspian corridor for trade. They pledged to coordinate more closely in regional and international forums. Also on the afternoon, the delegation departed Astana for Baku, beginning their state visit to Azerbaijan. For the third time, the Vietnam People's Navy has been awarded the Ho Chi Minh Order, the second highest national decoration in Vietnam. State President Leung Quang presented the honor at a ceremony hosted by the Vietnam People's Navy in Hai Phong to mark its 70th founding anniversary. Speaking at the ceremony, State President Leung Quang urged officers and soldiers of the Vietnam People's Navy to strengthen solidarity, remain proactive, flexible, and creative, and seize opportunity to overcome challenges and excel in accomplishing all assigned tasks, resolutely safeguarding national sovereignty over seas and islands. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired the government meeting to discuss mechanisms and policy for implementing the Politburo's Resolution 68 on developing the private sector's economy. He emphasized the urgent need to advance the directive in Resolution 68 for quick policy implementations. To reach 2 million registered businesses by 2030, the Prime Minister stressed simplifying administrative procedures to reduce times and costs for businesses. He also called for measures to support enterprise growth, safeguard property rights, promote public-private partnership, and accelerate decentralization. The Prime Minister instructed relevant agencies to continue gathering feedback from the business community and urgently finalize the draft resolutions this month for submissions to the National Assembly. Prime Minister Phie received a delegation from the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commissions led by Chair Reva Price during the 30th anniversary of U.S.-Vietnam diplomatic ties and the 50th anniversary of Vietnam reunification. The Prime Minister praised the U.S. for supporting a strong, independent Vietnam and urged continued backing for bilateral relations. He also affirmed Vietnam's readiness to negotiate tariffs for mutual benefit and proposed that the United States recognize Vietnam market economy status soon. Chair Reva Price and her delegation acknowledged Vietnam as an important U.S. partner, praised the achievements in bilateral relations, and expressed optimism for the future. She agreed with the Prime Minister's proposals and committed to supporting efforts to strengthen bilateral ties, including recognizing Vietnam's market economy status and engaging in tariff negotiations. Coming up next on VTV News, National Assembly discusses two-tiered local model. And National Lung Hospital successfully performed 2 lung transplants in a week.
When it comes to business, it's crucial to choose a smart location with global impact. And Vietnam might just be the location for you. Connect worldwide to advanced logistics networks. Smart hub for technology and innovation. A dynamic business ecosystem. An environment with a competitive edge.
Continuing its 9th session, the National Assembly discussed the draft resolutions amending and supplementing several articles of the 2013 Constitution. Deputies also molded the draft of the revised law on the organizations of local government and the revised laws on cadres and civil servants.
At the sitting, deputies supported the amendment for two-tier local authorities to improve efficiency and align with development trends. However, regarding Article 110 on administrative units, some deputies argued that the names of administrative units below the provincial level should be specified, while others suggested flexibility.
I suggest we specify that administrative units include provinces and centrally run cities, with communes, wards, and special zones as the units below the province. The law on the organization of local government clearly defines these units, so why not mention them explicitly in the Constitution and the resolution?
A too detailed listing of administrative units may reduce flexibility in organizing them, especially as we develop a new model of reorganizing administrative units.
Some deputies recommended keeping the regulation allowing Provincial People's Council deputies to question the Chief Justice and Chief Prosecutor, seeing it as a key supervisory role.
Previously, courts and supervisory courts existed at both district and provincial levels. Now, without district levels, removing these functions and questioning seems unreasonable. This issue needs further consideration.
Many deputies suggested clarifying the criteria for assessing the quality of cadres and civil servants and the criteria for identifying talented individuals to improve management, recruitment, and screening.
Civil servant capacity should be assessed based on job position and measurable output results. Without clear criteria, the selection and screening processes will be difficult.
Given that many evaluation criteria are qualitative and subjective, I propose adding regulations to include the supervisory role of independent agencies in the evaluation process.
On Thursday morning, the National Assembly will hear presentations and reports and discuss the draft revised law on chemicals.
Most localities have finalized plans to introduce a two-tier administrative model for agencies to replace the existing three-tier system. However, unlike technical staff who can be reassigned across positions, many key commune-level officials such as chairs of People's Committee or party secretaries are appointed through local elections, and this makes the personnel rearrangement far more complex.
Quách Văn Hạt is currently serving as the chair of the Nê Commune People's Committee.
I studied public administration through in-service training. As I have enough qualifications for administrative work, I'll do my best to carry out my responsibilities.
Bùi Thị Oanh is the secretary of the Youth Union of the Nê Commune. She will take up a new position. Though she holds a degree in public administration, she has no idea what will happen after the local personnel reshuffle.
I hope I will be assigned to a position that meets the personnel restructuring plan and matches my qualifications and aspirations.
Nguyễn Chí Quang, formerly a public servant in the education sector, now serves as a party secretary of Chiu Thanh Commune. However, he's not sure about his future after the personnel restructuring.
I'll do my best to perform my responsibilities in whatever positions I'm assigned.
In many localities, the number of elected officials is greater than the number of positions available, making personnel restructuring far more challenging.
Elected officials and full-time commune cadres face a tougher path transitioning to the new system. We'll assign them to suitable roles that meet the criteria set by the provincial party committee. But after 5 years, they'll have to resign if they can't meet our requirements.
Elected officials are well-trained individuals who have contributed greatly to their locality. However, due to the personnel restructuring requirements, some of them will have to step aside.
Fairness, transparency, and patience are crucial when it comes to personnel, especially those elected by the people. The reorganization of local authorities is expected to be implemented on July the 1st.
Import and export activities are bustling at Phie International Border Gate, Kon Tum Province. Since last year, the number of passengers entering and exiting through this border gate has also reached over 250,000. The total import and export turnover value has reached over $430 million. The main exported goods are cement, steels, and fertilizers materials. The main imported goods are agriculture products. All the businesses in the area carry out procedure electronically through automatic declarations. The results are then returned to businesses without contacting the custom office. In just over a month, several sinkholes have appeared in Hiệp Lực Hamlet, Nari District, Bắc Cạn Province, raising severe concern among residents. Initial assessment by local authorities and experts suggest that cause may be geological factors combined with excessive groundwater extractions. Meanwhile, solutions to mitigate the consequences of the subsidence and prevent possible risks remain challenging.
7 sinkholes have been reported in Bac Kon Province. They appeared across rice fields and along National Highway 3B. At the bottom of the sinkholes, underground water flows and underlying voids were discovered. Many wells in the area have run dry, turning residents' lives upside down as they face a shortage of clean water.
Before the sinkholes appeared, the water here was crystal clear. Now it's muddy and dirty.
We've never experienced a drought like this before. Locals are advised to save and pump water to keep their crops alive.
Preliminary geological surveys indicate that the area has layers of clastic sediment mixed with weathered limestone. These formations are highly fractured and host numerous karstic voids containing underground water. In addition, the overpumping of groundwater for farming may have lowered the water table, triggering the recent sinkholes.
We are facing difficulties determining the cause of the recent sinkholes. We need to assess the full scope of the subsurface voids to find suitable measures.
The Provincial Department of Construction is working with relevant agencies and local authorities to declare a state of emergency. Such measures as relocating residents and filling sinkholes must be carried out immediately.
While local authorities have mobilized efforts to address the issue, residents are still living in fear, as they are unsure when or where the next sinkhole might appear.
Within a week, the National Lung Hospital successfully performed lung transplant on 2 patients with end-stage lung disease. Both patients were in serious conditions. For the first time, lungs were transported from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi in just 10 hours for the first patient, and after an 8-hour transplant operation, the second patient could have their endotracheal tube removed. Currently, both patients are recovering well. The famous folk play Nghêu Sò Ốc Hến, or the stories of clam, oysters, snails, and mussels, has made its debut as a human puppet show for the first time. This revision breathed new life into Vietnam theatrical traditions by featuring creative acting techniques from artists who previously performed as water puppeteers. The play has already graced the stage in many traditional art forms, including tuồng, chèo, cải lương, and drama.
The folk tale Nghêu Sò Ốc Hến has been a beloved story among Vietnamese people for generations. Now it takes on an innovative twist at the Thăng Long Water Puppet Theater. Unlike traditional wooden puppets manipulated behind a curtain, each character comes to life through 2 performers working in tandem, one directing from behind while the other embodies the puppet on stage.
My biggest challenge was to find a new format, something different from what the creators before me had done.
It may feel unfamiliar or even strange to some audiences, but creativity is the soul of art.
This new adaptation marks the first time Thăng Long Water Puppet Theater has experimented with human puppetry on its main stage. Over the course of 2 months, seasoned puppeteers traded in their usual craft for a crash course in body language and spoken performance.
Artists must embody their roles as puppets. This means they cannot blink or reveal emotion while expressing the full weight of human emotions. That's the art of puppetizing a person.
This experimental approach in Nghêu Sò Ốc Hến marks a bold new direction for the Thăng Long troupe, opening doors to international collaboration and deeper dialogue with the global puppetry community.
Coming up next in our world news. Final rehearsal for Victory Day military parade held in Moscow, Russia. And cardinals set to enter conclave to decide successor for Pope Francis. On Wednesday, a full-scale rehearsal was held on Moscow Red Square for the Victory Day military parade, which marked the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. From early morning, Russian military units and convoys of military vehicles began assembling in the square. The formation included soldiers and officers from regiments, battalions, and companies of the Russian armed forces. The rehearsals also involved military personnel from 13 countries, including Vietnam, China, Laos, Mongolia, Egypt, Myanmar, and several Central Asian nations. A wide range of Russian military equipment was showcased during the rehearsal, from iconic vehicles of World War II to the latest generation's equipment. The Russian aerospace forces completed their aerial demonstrations successfully. 29 world leaders are expected to attend the Moscow Victory Day parade on the 9th of May. A total of 133 Roman Catholic cardinals began the task of electing a new pope on Wednesday, locking themselves away from the world until they select the next leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Of the 133 cardinals, 108 of them appointed by Pope Francis. All cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to participate in the election process. Before the voting begins, all participating cardinals will take an oath of secrecy. They will then proceed with 2 rounds of voting each morning and afternoon, continuing until one candidate receives a 2/3 majority. At the end of each voting round, black smoke means a new pope has not yet to be selected, while white smoke indicates a new pope has been chosen. The U.S. and Yemen Houthi forces reached a ceasefire agreement to ensure safe passage in the Red Sea after weeks of conflict, mediator Oman announced Tuesday, saying the deal would ensure freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. In a post on social media, Omani Foreign Minister Badr Busadi confirmed that both sides had agreed to halt hostile actions against one another. U.S. President Donald Trump said on May 6 that he would order a halt to U.S. airstrikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen after the group agreed to stop attacking ships on important shipping routes in the Middle East. There was no official comment from the Houthis. Meanwhile, the Israeli Daily said the ceasefire doubly surprised Israel.
It doesn't matter where I hear it. The very good source. Very, very good source. Would you say, Marco? I would say pretty good, right, JD?
With Gaza feels inaccessible to civilians and its seas barred to fishermen, the territory depends almost entirely on food from outside, but the last delivery Israel announced was on March 2nd. Israel cut most supply into Gaza when the war began October 7, 2023, with the Hamas attack. The United Nations warned of an unfolding catastrophe with more than 2 million people facing severe food shortages.
Palestinian baby Janan al-Skarfi died in Gaza on Saturday after malnutrition and digestive problems. The 4-month-old needed hypoallergenic milk formula to help her with chronic diarrhea that caused malnutrition and left her too weak to fight infection.
I was torn into 1,000 pieces, to the extent that I wanted to scream to the whole world, telling them save my daughter from death. I made appeals and I went to public begging for help to save her, but no one answered.
Malnutrition is severely affecting children, pregnant women, and people with chronic conditions. Hunger is not only aggravating health problems for children. Doctors are seeing an increase in patients coming to hospitals with chronic diseases such as diabetes and hypertension who lack protein, nutrients, and vitamins.
We came here to get pills for nutrition, because as you can see the situation, there is no food or drink. We are tired. We used to weigh one thing and now we weigh something else, due to lack of food.
There is a significant need for opening the humanitarian borders to allow for free flowing of medications and food. The issue that really is alarming is that the World Food Program is already saying that there's only a few more days left for providing the Gazan people with nutritious food.
There are 350,000 patients with chronic conditions in Gaza, including cancer and diabetes. Pregnant women are at particular risk as they face issues including anemia, fatigue, and preterm labor.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.